The lights dimmed, and the crowd fell silent. A small boy, barefoot and trembling, walked onto the massive stage. His name was Mateo Cruz, a 13-year-old from a poor fishing village in the Philippines. His clothes were simple, his eyes nervous but full of quiet determination. The judges glanced at one another, wondering if this tiny boy with a cracked microphone could really hold the attention of an international audience. But when he opened his mouth to sing, the entire auditorium froze. The first soft notes of Hotel California floated through the air like a whisper of hope. His voice wasn't loud, it was pure, raw, and filled with emotion that only someone who had known real pain could express. The judges leaned forward, tears already welling in their eyes. They weren't listening to just a song, they were hearing a story of survival. Mateo had never been inside a music school. His mother, a laundry worker, used to sing to him every night before she fell ill. When she passed away, he kept singing her favorite song, Hotel California, under the stars by the sea, promising he'd one day sing it for the world. But poverty had crushed almost every dream he had. He sold seashells on the beach, sometimes going hungry, while his younger sister waited at home with nothing but faith that her brother would make life better for them. One day, a tourist heard him singing near the shore. His voice was so beautiful that the tourist recorded him and posted it online. Within weeks, millions had watched. Offers came in, and soon, Mateo was flown to Manila to perform in a national talent show. Yet, behind the scenes, he was terrified. The lights, cameras, and crowd were nothing like the open sea he was used to. He almost backed out moments before his performance. He whispered to himself, "This is for you, Mama," and stepped into the light. When he sang the line, "You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave," his voice cracked with emotion, and tears streamed down his face. It wasn't just about the song anymore, it was about loss, love, and the dream his mother had for him. The audience began to cry. Even the toughest judge, known for never showing emotion, covered his face, overcome with tears. When the final note echoed through the hall, there was a long, stunned silence before the crowd erupted into applause. The golden confetti shot into the air as one of the judges slammed the golden buzzer. Mateo stood frozen, sobbing, as the lights turned gold around him. Backstage, he could hardly believe what was happening. Reporters crowded around him, but all he wanted was to call his sister. "We did it," he whispered through tears. "We're going to have a home." Over the following weeks, Mateo's life changed forever. Donations poured in from around the world. Music producers offered him contracts, but he chose one that would allow him to stay true to his mother's dream, to sing from the heart, not for fame. He used the first part of his earnings to rebuild his family's small home by the sea, where he placed his mother's photo above his bed. His sister enrolled in school, and for the first time, they had food on the table every night. But Mateo never forgot where he came from. Every year, he returned to his village to sing for the children who still dreamed beneath the same stars he once sang to. He told them, "You don't need much to start. Just a voice, a dream, and faith that someone will hear you." His journey became a symbol of hope across the Philippines and beyond. From the boy who sang barefoot on the shore to the global stage that embraced him, Mateo's voice carried a message that touched millions, that talent may open doors, but it is heart, humility, and love that keep them open. Years later, when he performed Hotel California again on a world tour, the crowd sang along, and Mateo smiled toward the heavens. He whispered, "I made it, Mama," and for the first time, he felt complete. His story reminded everyone that no matter where you begin, your song can reach the world if you sing it with your soul. Months after his unforgettable performance, Mateo's life moved faster than he could imagine. The boy who once sang barefoot on the sand was now flying across cities, performing on grand stages filled with lights and cameras. But behind the bright smile he showed the world, there were nights he couldn't sleep. He missed the smell of the sea, the laughter of his sister, and the quiet moments when music was just between him and his mother's memory. Fame was beautiful, but it came with a weight that was hard for a 13-year-old to carry. Everywhere he went, people called him a miracle, yet he felt lost in a world of noise and expectations. Managers pushed him to record songs he didn't understand, to sing in ways that didn't feel like him. "Mateo, this is what sells," they'd say, "you have to keep up." He nodded, but each time he stepped into the recording booth, his voice felt a little emptier. One evening, while preparing for a live TV performance, Mateo overheard two producers talking. "He's just a story," one said coldly. "Once the world forgets the poor boy angle, we'll move on." The words cut deep. That night, he went on stage with tears in his eyes, but he sang anyway, because he knew there were still people who believed in him. After the show, he called his sister. "I don't know if I'm meant for this world," he whispered. She was quiet for a moment, then said softly, "Mama always said your voice was a gift, not for money or fame, but to heal people. Don't let anyone take that from you." That night, Mateo made a decision that would change everything. He cancelled his next contract and returned to his village, shocking the entertainment world. Reporters flooded the town, asking why he'd leave such success behind. Mateo simply said, "I'm not leaving music, I'm returning to it." He began teaching children from poor families how to sing, just as he had once taught himself by listening to the waves. He formed a small group called Voices of Hope, where kids could learn, sing, and dream freely. Soon, videos of his students went viral, echoing the same magic that once brought Mateo to fame. The world began to see that his greatness wasn't in his fame, it was in his heart. Months passed, and the same judges who had once wept for him invited him back to perform as a guest. This time, he didn't come alone. He brought 10 children from his village, each wearing simple white shirts and holding microphones with trembling hands. When they began singing Hotel California, the crowd fell silent again, just like the first time. But this time, the power was multiplied. The judges cried once more, not just for Mateo, but for the new voices rising because of him. As the final note faded, Mateo smiled and said to the audience, "Dreams don't belong to the rich or the lucky. They belong to the brave." The studio erupted in applause, and millions watching at home felt the same lump in their throat. His story had come full circle, from a boy with nothing to a man who gave everything. Years later, a reporter asked him what success meant to him now. He smiled gently and replied, "Success isn't how loud they clap for you, it's how many hearts still sing because of you." And as the camera faded out, the world knew that Mateo Cruz had done more than just sing a song, he had given the world a reason to believe in hope again. Years passed, and Mateo's name became more than just a memory of a viral moment, it became a legend. Yet despite his growing influence, he stayed humble. He still lived in the same small coastal town where his story began, though now it was full of laughter, music, and life. The Voices of Hope Foundation he created had expanded to dozens of provinces, helping children who once had nothing discover the power of their voices. Every morning, he would walk to the sea, watching the sun rise over the same waves that had once carried his prayers. He would whisper, "Thank you, Mama," before beginning another day of teaching. But one afternoon, news arrived that would test him again. His sister, who had been his greatest support, fell seriously ill. The doctors said she needed surgery, one that was expensive and difficult. For a moment, the world that Mateo had built seemed to crumble. He sat by her bedside, holding her hand, whispering songs to keep her calm. "You saved the world with your music," she told him weakly, "now it's time to save yourself." Determined not to lose the only family he had left, Mateo decided to organize one final concert, a global charity event broadcast live from Manila. He called it, "The Song of Home." Performers from around the world joined in, moved by his story and his cause. The night of the concert, the arena was filled beyond capacity, and millions watched online. As he stepped onto the stage, dressed simply in white, the crowd chanted his name. But Mateo didn't speak. He simply raised his microphone and began to sing, Hotel California, the song that had started it all. This time, the music carried a different emotion, not the desperation of a poor boy's dream, but the strength of a man who had turned pain into purpose. Halfway through the song, tears streamed down his face, but he didn't stop. The audience joined in, their voices merging into one vast wave of emotion. By the end of the night, the concert had raised enough money not only for his sister's surgery but also to fund hospitals and schools in poor areas across the Philippines. His sister recovered, and when she saw him again, she smiled through tears. "Mama would be proud," she said. Mateo hugged her tightly, unable to speak. After the concert, he began to travel less and focus more on his foundation. He built a small music academy by the sea, free for children who dreamed of singing their way to a better life. He named it, the House of Light, because he believed that music could turn even the darkest moments into hope. Years later, when a new season of the talent show that had made him famous began, the producers invited him to join as a judge. Standing backstage, he looked at the same bright lights that once blinded him, and smiled. When the first contestant, a young girl with bare feet and nervous eyes, walked onto the stage, he saw himself in her. "Don't be afraid," he said gently, "just sing from your soul." And when she began to sing, Mateo felt tears fill his eyes again. The circle was complete. The boy who once sang for his mother had become the man who inspired a generation. In his final televised message, he said, "Dreams are not about leaving where you came from, they're about lifting others with you as you rise." The camera panned out, showing the sea behind him, shimmering in the sunset. His voice echoed softly, because even when the song ends, the music never truly dies, it lives in the hearts it touched. And with that, the story of Mateo Cruz, the poor Filipino boy who sang Hotel California and made the world cry, became a timeless melody of hope, love, and the power of a voice born from the heart.